things that you need to know as young researcher, as young professional that want to win funding to attend conferences, because of course, as you know, attending conferences, attending seminars, workshops, they are a fantastic way for you to network, as well as for you to meet people and also advance your career as well, and also make advocacy based on the work that you have been doing. So you're going to be learning from Isaac today. He's an inspiring young person that has won quite a number of funding, number of scholarship, grants, fellowship, and is going to be sharing his personal experience. And as you know, uh, this forum is basically an opportunity for you to learn from people's experience. I mean, practical experience, not just theory. So you'll be meeting with people that have that experience, that have done what you are willing to also achieve, that have done it. So you'll be able to learn practical step, practical insight on how you can go about it. So let's just wait for like additional 2 to 3 minutes, and we're going to be starting. So thank you, Olakulei, for organizing this, and thank you everyone for joining. I think I have about 11 people counting that have joined already. So we'll be starting shortly. I think we have to start now, and people that want to join will actually join us as we continue the discussion. So I'm going to welcome Isaac now to start the discussion. So everyone is here already, Isaac. They're already waiting for you to start. And thank you for joining us today. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time you are at your present location. Uh, my name is Isaac Olushola Ogunkola, as Yusuf has introduced. Firstly, I would like to appreciate Yusuf and also the OAU Research Club for putting this amazing section together. It's an honor to be here to share some of my uh,
UI.
strategies and tips I've used. Oh, okay, it is UI, sorry.
Yeah.
UI Research Group. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah. Uh, so I'm just here to share some tips and strategies that has worked for me over the past few years, applying for diverse conferences, both within the country and outside the country. And then just a little disclaimer, the experiences and strategies I'll be sharing are personal, and then it may not be a one size fits all. And so it all depends on how we are able to work hard to put some of these things into work before we could see tangible results from it. So without further ado, I think we can kickstart, right, Yusuf? Hello, Yusuf.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I just want to be sure you can hear me and also the audience can also hear me. So,
Can you hear him
uh,
clearly? Maybe let me confirm from them.
all right. Can you all hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes, they said yes, Isaac.
Oh, okay, great, great. All right. I don't know. Can you share that your screen again, just the flyer, so that we can have something on board?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, I have some just few points uh, that I would like to share, and then I also like to share the story behind this section. So it was just a sort of reflection I was having with Yusuf some times ago. We were interacting and then discussing some of the conferences we've attended over the years, and then starting from the ones we've attended in Nigeria on scholarships. And yeah, and we're just counting casually, we're counting, and we could see that it is running into 15, 20. Although there are some we couldn't attend, there are some we were busy, we were doing other things that we could not attend them. But it is quite interesting to see that we've gotten a lot of travel scholarship, conference grants to attend a lot of conferences across the globe. Uh, yeah, almost free, or let me say free of charge. And yeah, it is quite interesting. And then I'm personally amazed at the number because I was not even thinking uh, I would have received so many conference grants like that. And so, uh, at the course of preparing for this speaking engagement, I just had to have another reflection, to be able to create some simple framework, strategy framework that anyone could use to uh, get a conference grant or a travel scholarship, as the case may be. And then basically, I think one key thing is where are these conferences? That's one key thing we want to ask each other, or you want to ask yourself, where are these conferences? Or you want to attend conferences, you want to go and network, you want to present your research findings, you want to meet new people, regardless of the purpose or the aim or your goal of attending that conference. One key thing that is going to kickstart your aspiration is, where are these conferences? Where can I see them? How can I access them? Right. So firstly, before we move forward, I'm going to I want us to do a simple task for us to just set up a simple thing where we can actually get access to some conferences that may interest us. And I believe we are all from different backgrounds. Probably we have a medical student here, pharmacy, and even engineering. I don't know. So the conference we would want to attend may differ from each other, right? And it is very, very good for you to set up that strategy, that plan to get the conferences, the programs, the fellowship that align with your career, that aligns with your profession, that align with what you are studying, right? As an engineering student, may you may not be interested, or it may not be very helpful for you to attend conferences on One Health unless you have some technological advancement or solutions you want to profile in that particular aspect. Also, as a medical student, it may not be accurate, it may not be in quotes accurate for you to want to attend conferences in, let's say, music or whatever. Although there could be integration between music, art, and sciences and medicine and the likes, but I'm just trying to be specific with what you are doing and how you need to pursue your interest. If you are a medical student, you could attend conferences that deals around health, One Health, HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, surgery, cardiovascular diseases, NTDs, and the like. So how do you find these conferences? That is the main question. How? So basically, one simple strategy that has worked for me over the years is using Google. Like, we all have access to Google, google.com. We can search things on Google. And I know we are familiar with the traditional way of, searching for information on Google, type conferences on health, and then it brings a lot of response, and you choose the one you want and the like. But there are smarter ways in which you can in which you can actually get this conference. And that is what will lead to my first point, which is identifying your suitable opportunities. Identify your suitable opportunities. And if you are saying suitable opportunities, it means an opportunity that aligns perfectly with what you are doing, with your career or professional trajectory. And so, how do you use Google? So, if you are listening to me now, you can just type this on your search engine or your web browser, www.google.com, and then /alerts, www.google.com /alerts. And so when you type this on Google, it is going to take you to a very simple platform where you can use some particular keywords. You can use some keywords like conferences, health, grants, travel scholarship. If you are interested in HIV related conferences, you can put HIV. If it's hepatitis, you can put that. If it is public health, you can put that. If it is surgery, you can put that. And you are going to fill up your email, put these keywords. And if you are able to do this, this is the amazing magic that is going to happen. Whenever any of such terms are being mentioned on the internet, you know, most websites find their roots on Google. Most websites, or let me say all websites find their roots on Google. If you want to go to any website now, you most likely start from the google.com, right? And so whenever any of these keywords are being mentioned anywhere on the internet, Google is going to alert you through your email. They are going to alert you. Once it is being mentioned, you get a notification. And so I just want to be sure if you are following me, I'll ask IDBC to check at his back end just for people's reaction to know if you understand what I've been saying. www.google.com /alerts. So I want to be sure if we get /alerts. So I want to be sure if we get /alerts.
We have a number of people here, so yes, they said they are following. They are following.
Hello?
Yes, they are following, Isaac. Yeah,
Hello?
right. They are following.
They are following. Okay, perfect. Perfect. And so I think if you are able to do that, let me just tell you congratulations in advance, because I think that is one of the key first steps for you to assess some of these opportunities online. And so as a medical student, as an engineer, you know terms that are specific to your field of profession. You know the terms that you use in your profession, probably thermodynamics for engineering. I'm just using my basic knowledge of physics to see all of this thermodynamics, whatever thing. Just use those keywords, those search terms. You can use them on the Google Alerts, and then set it up your way to assessing different opportunities. And then one unique thing about this way of getting information online is that you will be one of the first persons to see this information immediately they are being mentioned on the internet. Immediately it is being mentioned, you get to access this opportunity. You get to access it, and it will surprise you that some of these opportunity forum that share conferences, grants, and the likes. This is one of the strategy they use themselves. They sign up for google.com/alerts, and once they get those notifications, They already have some WhatsApp groups, their own personal website where they can, reshare some of these details to their audience, right? And so let's assume that you get a notification on your email from Google Alerts that, oh, there's this social conference that is happening, social place. This is the deadline. Just a few brief information will be given to you. Then you follow the link to check what the conference is all about. If it really aligns with uh, your program, your career trajectory, the course you are studying. And also, it is important I state this that one of the key thing when I was applying for most of these conferences is that I was an undergraduate student. Yes, I got all of this as an undergraduate student, as an undergraduate. And so if you are an undergraduate, you shouldn't, that should not discourage you that you cannot get a travel grant. That should not discourage you that you cannot get a conference grant. In fact, there are a lot of conference grants that is suitable just for you. You have leverage as an undergraduate to access some of these conference grants. So you should have that at the back of your mind if we have any undergraduates or maybe graduate students in this webinar. And so let me go back to what I was saying. You've received an alert from Google and then you clicked on the link, took you to the website or the landing page of the conference. You check the theme, check what they have to offer in terms of the topics that interest the organizers or what they aim to discuss at the conference. You check all of these things, and as an undergraduate who does not have money, in quotes, one of the key things you also want to check is if this conference, if the organizer offer scholarships. Do they offer scholarships? And so you need to investigate. I'm intentional about my use of word. You need to investigate if there are scholarship opportunities on the conference website. So you need to go through the conference website, check if there are scholarship opportunities. And then you also have to have this at the back of your mind is that some of these scholarship opportunities are attached to a particular thing. For most of these conferences I've attended, sometimes the scholarship opportunities are attached to you being an abstract presenter. It is attached to you being an abstract presenter. But sadly, this webinar is not on abstract for conferences. So I may not go deep into that. Probably later on, Yusuf can set up other webinars to address that topic. It is also a very vital topic you need to be conversant with if you want to win a lot of travel grants. And so in most cases, for the scholarships I've gotten, they are usually attached to the scholarship. And what do I mean? It means that abstract presenters are given priority. Abstract presenters are given priority. Let's say there is a program somewhere in Australia and they have 100 scholarship slots for people. What that in most cases, about 60% of that scholarship will be given to abstract presenters. And that should be telling you something. It should be telling you the fact that the conference organizers want people that will contribute to their conference. They want people that will make some meaningful contribution to their conference. And that is why they are prioritizing people who submit abstract or people whose abstract have been accepted, right? And so after investigating the conference website to check what kind of scholarship they have. Is it fully funded? Is it partial funding? Yeah, so what do I mean by fully funding or fully funded? Is the part that the conference organizers and their partners are going to fund your trip in terms of your flights from your home country to the country where the conference is happening. Also, you will be given an accommodation and in some cases, you'll be paid some stipend, some daily stipend for your time at the conference, your feeding, think of it, you're feeding uh, your local transportation in the conference in the country where the conference is happening will be paid for, and yeah, that is a full funding conference. And we have the partial funding, and also the conference registration. Some of these conferences fee can be so expensive, in quotes, so can be so expensive. We could have conference that you need to pay about $250, $500, $1,000, $800. It varies. It varies. And sometimes it also varies with your location. High income country participants can pay like 1,500, while those from, low and middle income countries can pay like 800, 500, depending on what the conference committee decides on, right? And so for a partial funding, so they may decide to cover your conference registration and maybe your accommodation, and then you cover the rest. You cover the rest in terms of your flights and your feeding and the likes. It's maybe, they alternate it differently. It may be conference registration and your flight ticket to the country where it is happening. It may be your flight ticket and accommodation, and you need to pay for the conference registration yourself. And so these are that is how a partial funding looks like. And to be honest, you don't want that. You want a fully funded, conference or travel grant. And so if you've been able to investigate the website to know what kind of funding they are giving out, then you can also get an understanding of what is needed of you to access this funding in terms of you writing an essay. So for all the conferences I've attended, the one I've gotten scholarships for, they usually have some set of questions they will ask you. They have some set of questions they will ask you, and it's usually revolve around the field of that conference, whether it is public health, whether it is One Health, whether it is HIV/AIDS, or whatever thing you are applying for. The questions are going to revolve around your experiences in that field and how that projects you as the best fit candidate to be given the scholarship. So more or less, it's like you are writing some personal statement and essays. And so from experience, these are some of the questions they will ask you. Why do you want to attend this conference? How will the learnings from this conference impact your work at home? What are your personal experiences that you have that you can share with us? And mind you, you want to say things that align with the conference you are going for. You can't be doing stuff around let's say working around animal health and all of those things, and then you are applying for a conference that is on maybe surgery for humans, and it may be difficult for you to find a link between animal health and then surgery for humans. So you need to be careful on those things, and that is what will be leading me to the second strategy on this framework. The first strategy I mentioned is identify your suitable opportunities. Identify your suitable opportunities. And I've mentioned how you could use Google Alerts to do that. So the next thing is crafting a compelling application. Crafting a compelling application. Yeah, some of these scholarship opportunity, we have over 1,000 applicants applying to this opportunity sometimes. 1,000, sometimes more than 1,000, like applying for this opportunity. And so, believe me, you want your own application to stand out. You want your application to captivate the attention of the reviewers. And so you need to learn how to craft a compelling application. And when I say a compelling application, it is in two ways for me. It is in two ways. Number one, we'll be looking at your personal statement and essays. And then the second thing we'll be looking at is your letters of recommendation. Number one, I said it is what? Your personal statement and essays. And the second thing is what? Your letters of recommendation. So I want to know if people are still following me. Adebisi, are you there? Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, they are following.
All right,
People are
thank you.
here. They can hear you
Okay,
clearly.
all right. Thank you so much. And so for your personal statements and essays, uh, I think you need to basically look at two things. You need to look at two things for your essays and personal statement, depending on the kind of questions you are being asked. Maybe before we finalize today's webinar, I can look at some of my previous essays and look at the questions that were being asked. So we can just have some basic idea of how this thing looks like. So for your personal statement and essays, I said there are two things you need to look out for. The first thing is detailing your experiences. You need to detail your experiences. And when I say experiences, uh, I believe there are two forms of experiences. There are two forms for me, right? Uh, the first one is for you to highlight your hands-on experience, like the experience you've gotten from working in your field, your internship, the research group you belong to, the community project you've done, and all of those things. So those are your hands-on experiences. And then the other one, the other form of experiences you may want to also highlight is your lived experiences, if you have one, your lived experiences, And what do I mean by lived experiences? You could be applying for a conference that is around disability, and then you also have some form of disability. You can talk about that if you are comfortable with it. And believe me, that is going to give you some leverage. Let's say you've been someone who has dealt with tuberculosis or any form of disease that you have some lived experiences on, or an issue. You could share that story in your application, and that is going to make you stand out. And not just that alone, your hands-on experiences. For example, when I got a particular scholarship as a 2021, uh, one key experience that stood out in my application was the fact that in 2017, I think Yusuf was also part of this. In 2017, I organized an online campaign on HIV self-testing for young people in Nigeria. And, during the campaign, it was a 7 days campaign online. We're sharing, health information around HIV self-testing, and the willingness of young people to uptake such innovative approach to test HIV testing, right? And then during the course of doing this campaign, I also tried to gather some information in terms of data collection from young people, and we had over 500 young people who fill the questionnaire. It's an online based questionnaire, and they fill to give their opinion, their knowledge level around HIV self testing. And so uh, that stuff I did with a team of young people as a 2017 was relevant in an application that I was submitting in 2021. And one key thing was that I also have some evidences to show for it. I could, share the link to the campaign online. It was on Facebook, it was on Twitter. I could copy those links online and then infuse them into my application. I can embed the link into my application, and whosoever is reviewing it, if they have the time to check it, they can see that, oh, this applicant is being truthful with the work they've done. And so that is an example of hands-on experience, right? So those are the kind of things you want to share in your personal statement and essay, tailored to the kind of questions you are being asked. Another thing is that you want to showcase your achievement. You want to showcase your achievement. For example, if you have gotten an award in a particular field, if you have been nominated for so thing, and you are applying for a conference around that field, you can mention those achievements in your essays. You can mention those achievements, and achievement may not just be on award nomination alone. It could be the numbers of people you've been able to reach through your community engagement. It may be number uh, of projects you've been able to execute and the kind of impact they are making in the lives of people in that field, right? It's for engineers, it could be some lab-based work or research you've been able to do that you believe it can, make life easier for people. It may be anything at all. So you should not compact, co- compartmentalize achievement as uh, receiving nomination or receiving award as achievement alone. Your work, the kind of impact you are making with your work, are enough achievements to give you the right opportunities that aligns with what you are doing. And so those are the kind of things you want to highlight in your personal statement and essays. And believe me, you are on your way to getting a fully funded scholarship through this. So let me quickly go to the second thing I spoke about in crafting a compelling application. I said there are two things, your personal statement and essays, and then your letters of recommendation. So yeah, so let's go to the letters of recommendation. This is very important. This is as important as your personal statement and essay. And I've been privileged to, review some travel scholarship essays for so many international conferences, for more than 5 conferences, different conferences, right, over the years. And one thing that we do, excuse me, one thing that we do is that there's a sort of rubric or like mm, some assessment scores that is being used to review your application. So the organizers or the committees of the conference may decide to segregate it into 5 steps, 3 steps, depending on what they want. It could be 5 steps, it could be 3 steps, depending on what they want. And the first one could be, oh, does this person have enough experience in this area? Or is their experience relevant to the aim, goals, and objective of the conference? And then they will tell us we should award that on a scale of 1 to 5 or on a scale of 1 to 10. And so me having this idea also helped me to craft my essays in a very unique way. Like after writing my essays, I sit back to read them again and then grade myself. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well does this essay align with the goal and objective of the conference I'm attending? And I need to be very honest with myself on this. And I also have friends I can share with you. So I can share with some of my other friends, and then they give their feedback on it. And so this is one peculiar thing you need to be doing with your essay. I think any essay at all, like it may not be just for conferences, it may be for other things. Look at what you are applying for critically. Look at their themes, look at their goals, what do they hope to achieve, and see how all of these things are aligned with the essays you've written. And so that is one thing. Another thing is that, the impact that this conference is going to make on this person. Does this person have a very good plan on how they are going to use lessons from this conference in their country, in their community? And then we are going to grade that too, from 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, right? And then, yeah, so diverse, things are being used to grade your essays. And then letters of recommendation is also important. Letters of recommendation is also important. They can ask us to grade your letter of recommendation in terms of the strength of the letter, the strength of the letters. What have they said about you? What support is the organization giving you? What is the link between you and the organization? People can be so funny at times. I've been reviewing essays. Some of my friends have been reviewing different scholarship opportunities, and then We are in the era of ChatGPT, and then you will see people bringing up some very funny letter of recommendation. Uh, uh, the applicant is a very good person. Then in bracket, put the name of the applicant in a letter of recommendation. So that is quite unserious. Like they just copy some template, put it in, and then they were unable to, fill in the right thing at the right places. So you need to be very, very careful. Give yourself enough time, like a lot of time to review and re-review your application. Some reviewers can be very strict. Like I think I'm, I don't know if I'm strict with reviews, but yeah, some reviewers can be very strict. And so sometimes, even though there are metrics we use in reviewing this application, our reasoning, our judgment, sometimes we are humans, can be subjective. So no matter how objective we want to be, our reasoning at times can be subjective based on some personal biases, right? So you need to make sure that you are not giving room for any error in your application. Give yourself a lot of time and give your referees a lot of time too to think about what they want to write for you and have a lot of time to themselves to think, reflect, and write a very powerful recommendation for you. And if possible, you can also write a draft for them. You send it alongside your CV so that they can look at your CV and write some very compelling things about you. And so for your letter of recommendation, you want to select a reputable recommender. You want to select a reputable recommender. Sometimes the person that is recommending you also matters. The organization also matters at times, so many times, right? So you need to find a reputable recommender for your uh, letters of recommendation. And so they should be able to attest to your dedication, your impact, and your potential in that particular field. Those three things: your dedication in terms of what you've done in the past, how you have been so hardworking doing this, and they should not just use some filler words. So, uh, Shegun is hardworking. He has been doing a lot of things around. They should be quite specific. So there's this trick we use in some of these applications. So instead of telling us, show. Instead of telling us, show. With your writing, show us instead of telling us. Shegun is hardworking. You are telling us he is hardworking. We don't want to know that. Show us he is hardworking. He led a team of 10 young persons uh, to 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 create a community awareness program where over 5,000 people or 2,000 people or 500 people or 20 people or 25 people were able to do this, do that, do that. You are showing us what Shegun has done, and you are not just telling us that Shegun is hardworking. So you need to be careful of these high-sounding adjectives, right? So show instead of telling us. That is one key thing. And also in your essays, you should show us instead of telling us. Don't tell us you've made impact. Show us the impact. Don't tell us you are hardworking. Show us how you have been hardworking. Don't tell us that you are dedicated. No, show us how you have been dedicated. And so on and so forth. So uh, also your recommenders or your referees must be able to highlight some of your contribution, showing us some of those specific contribution, your leadership skills, and the broader impact of your work in that particular field that you are trying to apply for a conference grant or scholarship to, right? So those are the basic things you need to understand. And also to just add some little extra uh, to your essays, you also need to mention or something I would call like demonstrating uh, demonstrating your impact, the impact of your work, and then future plans. So, because sometimes the conference organizers want to know after the conference, what next? after the conference, like what will the conference do for you? What are you trying to achieve with the conference? Why do you even want to attend the conference in the first place? And so in this particular aspect, you can link it around your professional development. That is one. You can link it around your professional development. So you can articulate in your writing that, oh, attending this conference is going to enhance your professional skills and also expand your network. And uh, as someone who has attended so many conferences, I also want you to know that people attend conferences for different things, right? People go there apart from attending to, get some insight into the trending research or the work that is going on in that your field. People go there for different things. People go there to find donors for their work. People go there to find people that will give them grants for their local engagements in their own country. People go there to find their potential master supervisors or PhD supervisors. And as a matter of fact, as of last year, I got a PhD supervisor through a conference, right? So those are the kind of things, goals people set when going for some of these conferences. And so going back to demonstrating the impact and the future plans of you attending that conference. So you can link it to your professional development, right? Discuss how this is going to enhance your professional skills, expand your network to be up to date on current researches and evidence-based practices that is going on in that field of interest. Also, you can discuss your own future contributions in so many ways. In fact, there are different ways to show that. You can tell them, oh, you apply the knowledge gained to your community engagement and organization. That is one. I think you should note some of these things down because some conferences will ask you directly, what what are you going to be doing after the conference? Or how will this conference impact your work at home? Or how do you intend to share the lessons learned from this conference? So I'll just give us some brief ideas on how I go about these things. So you can describe or discuss how you are going to apply the knowledge, the evidence-based practices that you are going to gain from the conference, how you are going to apply them to your community work, your organization, such as conducting trainings. You can tell them, oh, you conduct trainings for your organizations. You have also numbers of members in your organization. It may not be an organization you own yourself. For example, I don't own any organization. I'm not a founder of any organization. I'm not an executive director of any organization, right? I believe there are a lot of organizations around me that are doing amazing things, and I can just contribute my quota to push the organization forward in achieving what we want to achieve, in achieving our shared goals, right? So you don't need to be an executive director, a founder, to be able to, conduct trainings for your teammates. So you can decide, oh, sometimes ago, I also do mention that, oh, I want to discuss some of the lessons or information I'll be getting from the conferences with my friends, with my colleagues in school, with my classmates. I mention some of these things. And when I come back, I share some of these findings with my friends. Also, you could also integrate the new media in terms of blog posts, in terms of social media posts, in terms of vlog. You can do a vlog on TikTok, on YouTube. In fact, the recent conference attend, uh, I attended about some weeks ago. One of the key things I mentioned that I'll be using to, share best practices is to do a blog of my experience at the conference, right? So those are the kind of things you may want to mention uh, as your future plan for the uh, conference, right? So use new media. In fact, that is a trendy thing now. New media. When I say new media, I mean your social media platforms. Your, in fact, I do mention WhatsApp because sometimes I have few numbers of person looking at my WhatsApp status, up to like 200, 300 people view my status on WhatsApp, and it can be quite engaging too. So I mentioned, oh, so numbers of person on my WhatsApp. I'm going to share my lessons at the event with them and all of those things. And I make some posts while I'm at the conference. And people read, people learn, some people react, some don't react. So those are the kind of things you can mention. Also, blog posts. I've written a lot of more than 10 blog posts on diverse conferences I've attended and fellowships. So you can also mention that. And please don't promise what you won't be able to do. So you need to be honest. You need to be honest with some of these things. Don't promise what you will not be able to do. So you can, yeah, talk about all of these things. Also, you can look at some community impact in terms of like knowledge transfer. You can outline some specific plans for transferring knowledge to your community. You can outline some specific plans in which you can use to transfer knowledge to the community you work with or the community you serve, right? For example, I work with some numbers of organizations, and for example, I work with Youth Rise, and it is our practice, like it is one of our practice as an organization to share the lessons learned or the knowledge we gain from a program with our team members. In fact, we have some documents you need to fill when you attend a conference, like an event report, what you learned, who did you meet, how many people were there, what are the key information that were shared, all of those things. So you could have some specific plan on how you are going to transfer knowledge to or get knowledge gained from the conferences to your communities. It could be an online training, it could be an on-site training, so diverse things, right? Diverse things. And I've mentioned earlier, you can use the new media. It is one easy thing you can do. Blog posts, social media, and the like. So I think uh, I've mentioned the most important thing in getting some of this scholarship. And so one other last thing I'm going to mention is your personal stories. Uh, if you are to look at uh, if you are to look at yourself, look at when you were in primary schools and the likes, one of the key things or one of the key ways of people communicating things to us when we were kids was using stories. And it is important to also try to uh, showcase your unique perspective and commitment through your personal stories. You can share personal experiences. You can use some personal things to illustrate the connection between what is being done at those conferences and the work you do. It is confidential. Those reading your work will not share your application, your story to anybody. If they want to do that, the organizers will definitely ask for your permission if you are comfortable with it or not, right? So you can share any of those things. You can share them if you are comfortable. If you are comfortable, that is very important. If you are comfortable. And so those are the few things that you need to know about getting a travel scholarship or a conference grant. And I think I'm going to stop here for now and then want to know if we have some questions. And probably if there's more time, I can look at some of the questions that are being asked in some of the conferences I've attended in the past, and we can discuss them together. Yeah, so thank you. Yusuf, are you there?
All right. Thank you very much, Isaac, for the wonderful presentation. You've shared quite a lot of things, and I'll just try as much as possible to do some recap uh, from what you said. I think one important thing that everyone here should understand that is that it is always possible, and it is definitely possible for you to win travel grants, travel scholarship, of course, to present your research or to even attend. From what Isaac said, you can attend as a participant and you can also attend as a presenter. So what is always important is that you identifying the right conference for you. There are quite a lot of conference, a lot of gatherings, scientific gathering that you can attend. So what is important for what is said is that you need to identify the one that actually fits your interest. If it is in engineering, in the social sciences, in public health, there are quite a lot. And you can easily know this from what he said too. You can easily know this by, of course, social media is powerful. Internet is powerful. If, for instance, now I'm interested in knowing conferences, let's say in social science, I will just go online, just search social sciences conferences. And importantly, he mentioned something about pediatric conferences. You also have to always remember that there's some conferences that are not real, that are fake. So don't fall victim of those kind of conferences. Make sure that you do your due diligence to know that whether they are real or not. Some conferences are not real. So, for instance, there are some international organizations. They have their own meetings. They have their own seminars from time to time, where they organize conferences for people to come and present, for people to attend. For instance, there are conferences by the International AIDS Society. We have conferences by International Epidemiology Society. There are different organizations around the world that are reputable, and that they have their own scholarship. They have their own conference that people can attend. So do your due diligence from what he said too, to identify the best conference that you can attend. And of course, when you attend conferences, he shared a particular story just now that he met a professor there. And of course, he met the professor and they started interacting together. And they're working together to secure a PhD position. So you can go to conferences, leverage the kind of people that are going to attend. There's some conferences that you see some people that are like, I mean, people that on a normal day you cannot see them, but in the conference you're going to meet them there. So it's also a fantastic opportunity for you to network, to meet new people, and of course for you to let the world know what you are doing. He mentioned something about if you've done a project, let's say you've done a community project, there are some conferences that accept writing an abstract to summarize the beautiful work that you've done. You've done a project, you've done an awareness, you've done an interesting thing in your community. You can write an abstract to summarize what you've done, and you can get it submitted in some conferences that actually accept that, and they're going to give you money, they're going to give you funding to come and present.
Yeah.
And it gave you a practical example of that, where he carried the project and he put something together like an abstract. He tried to submit it to the conference, and it was given funding to come and present it. So conference abstract, we are going to have another session. And on this channel, there's a video on how to write abstract for conferences. Abstract is just a summary of the research that you've done, that you allowed or you are given the opportunity to present that in a conference. So there are many strategies and there are many ways, and I think you can learn from his experience as well. You have to be intentional. It's not just about you attending conferences. It's not just about you looking for conferences. You have to be strategic on why and what that conference is going to do to your personal development. And as well, how are the conference attendees and the organizers, how are they going to benefit from you? They like to see that in your application. That's why you have to also mention, maybe after the conference, you're going to write a blog post, or you're going to gather people to discuss what you've learned. You can put all those things in your application. So they also want to see that they are going to benefit from you in sharing the knowledge that you've gained from the conference. And they also want to see that indeed you're going to be beneficial to the conference itself. That's why they tend to give people that submit abstracts funding. So you also can try to submit your abstract, or you can write an essay on how they are going to benefit from you being invited. He has started quite a lot of examples on that. And of course, always a strategy. When you go to conference, it's not just about going there to take pictures or to smile or to laugh. Is an important opportunity for you to improve your network, to learn from others, to see the way things are done, and improve your knowledge in your area, in your field of interest. Regarding conference, there are quite a lot of conferences. There are quite a lot. And you yourself, you'll have seen them everywhere, different conferences. But of course, if you know that there's no funding or there's no scholarship attached to that conference, for me, really, I don't see a reason why you should apply, because you can't even go unless if you want to present online and they have the option for you to present virtually. So if you are interested in a conference, look at whether they have the virtual option or whether you have the opportunity to apply for funding or for grants to come there to attend, whether as an attendee or as a conference presenter. You can go there, learn one or two things, build your capacity, apply for the funding, get the right recommendation letter. As I said, look for someone that is going to give you a recommendation letter. For some conferences, they want you to submit a recommendation letter. And don't just get it from someone that will just write one sentence. Isaac is a good boy, or Yusuf is a good boy, is hardworking. you need to get a recommendation letter from someone that will talk about what you've done and how the conference is going to be beneficial to you. So you have to think about all these things when you are getting someone to give you a recommendation letter for your conference. Why for some conference they don't require it. So you have to always check this thing. And if you see a conference that you're interested in, like I always mention to people, it's not a must that you apply that year. If you know that, of course, maybe you don't have something to present in the conference, or the conference you don't have that time to prepare a strong application, you can wait and note it down in your diary that, okay, this particular conference, international AIDS conference, I'm interested in it. Let me note it down and let me start preparing towards the next conference. It's not a must for you to rush any opportunity that you see. Always take your time, look at it, review the web page, know what is required, and start preparing to maybe towards the next application round. So you always need to have a diary to document all these things so that with time, when they open, you will know and you can also apply. And if you know the organizer, follow them on social media so that once they start posting, there's a conference there's a conference by African CDC, the International Public Health Conference. It's going to hold, I think, this year again in Morocco. So maybe last year you heard about the conference, but this year now we are now in this particular year. You can note it down. Maybe you can apply towards the end of the year, or you can apply when it opens, or maybe another time. So there are many conferences. Just about being strategic, positioning yourself to conference opportunity that you can leverage. And as I said, being strategic is important. And of course, you have to understand that some people are doing it, and they are, of course, they are making progress and they are achieving success with that. So there are many conferences with grants, with funding that you can leverage for yourself. So now we are going to open the floor for question and answer because we have said quite a lot of things. So if you need clarity, you want to maybe understand some things more, or you don't know some things regarding conference participation, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to ask, and it will be able to guide you through everything that you need to know. So, but start preparing your question. But before then, I want to ask my own particular question to Isaac, which I know that many newbies, they will also, of course, they also be interested in maybe knowing things about that thing, about that area. When applying for a conference, is it always better for you to apply for full funding or for you to apply for partial funding? Which one would you recommend? Do you have any thoughts to share with us on that?
You know, that is a very good question. That's a very good question. A lot of young persons who want to be smart and want to shortchange ourselves. Probably will be thinking, oh, if I'm to apply for partial funding, that is going to give me a leverage to get the scholarship. But in the look of things, if you are to face the reality, let's assume you are being given a partial scholarship of registration and accommodation. Flight outside the country, outside Nigeria, even to Ghana, that is very close to us, costs close to 800,000 or $800, as the case may be. Are you sure you can actually afford that? So that is one key question you need to ask yourself. And if you are thinking that, oh, if I'm to apply for a partial scholarship, it will give you more leverage to get the scholarship easily, that is a lie. Unless it is being stated by the organizers. Unless the organizers mention that specifically that, oh, we are going to prioritize those that are applying for partial scholarship. But if it is not being stated by the organizers, you should not shortchange yourself. So if you apply for a full scholarship and then you are being given a partial scholarship, that is a different case. That is fine. But make sure you try your application. Just try it out and see if it is going to give you the full one or the partial one. But don't go with the mindset of getting a partial scholarship unless you have enough money to do things. Some people can be very rich, probably you have a lot of money and then you want to fund yourself to conferences, and yeah, you can ask for the partial scholarship. But if you are like me that do not have like a lot of money, right? An undergraduate, you are not working, you are just trying your best to do some things here and there, you should apply for the full funding. I will advise you go for the full funding. So the organizers will read your application, and at their own discretion, they are going to tell uh, they are going to decide on which one they are giving you. Maybe the full funding, maybe the partial funding. So don't shortchange yourself by going for partial funding while you have the option of a full funding. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I also have another question. Like,
Okay.
what are the benefits? What do you think are the benefits of attending conference for early career
Okay.
researcher and students? Do you think there
Okay.
are any benefit to attending conferences?
There are there are a lot of benefits, a lot of benefits, a lot of benefits. So let me just go over some of the benefits I have experienced personally uh with attending conferences, right? The first conference I attended, like on the at the international level outside Africa, because before then, I've attended a workshop, a program in an African country. So the first one outside Africa was to Canada. And getting to Canada, we get to meet a lot of people, get to meet, like Yusuf mentioned, you meet people that you cannot ordinarily meet on your day-to-day activities, people that you cannot meet on your day-to-day life. You will meet them at these conferences. And so, and some of these conferences have some social engagements. It's not just about going to different plenary sections, abstracts, presentation, and all of those things. There are also some social aspects to some of these conferences where you get to network with people. There are a lot of other social engagements mixed with some learnings like exhibition posts where different organizations come to showcase the work they are doing, their projects, their products, the kind of interventions they are doing at different places. And one of the key things I got from that, myself and also another friend uh, from Uni Loring at the conference, one of the key things we did was we had access to a lot of contraceptive products at the conference. The partners were able to give us a lot of it because they are trying to showcase their products to the world. They want the world to know what they are doing, and they probably they can get buy-ins of government. Government can purchase in larger quantity. And so they give us free sample of those things. And one key thing that happened with that was that, we came back to Nigeria. He went to Ilorin to do some project with that product. I went to Cross River State to do some project with that product. That is one benefit. And that would have cost me hundreds of thousands of naira to purchase such quantity of product for a community project. That is one benefit. And so the benefit to a conference can be very dynamic. It can be very dynamic. There is no strict way that, these are the kind of benefits you'll get. See, that is just one. Another thing I've gotten from conferences is, networking with individuals that are decision makers in some programs and projects and grant application that interest me. It is funny. You can just meet, an executive director of so grant. He's in charge of, he is the one making decision for a particular grant. You network with him, show him directly the kind of work you've been doing, show them evidences on your phone, talk to them, have their contact, keep up with them after the conference. And they can always recommend you for other projects. For example, I won't mention the name of the organization. One of the topmost pharmaceutical companies in the world, like recently, Yusuf is aware of this. I shared the email with him. Recently reached out to me, to come be a speaker, like a sort of consultancy for them at the conference, fully funded. And how did I meet them? I met them in one of those conferences I attended in some country, got their contacts, we were interacting, talking with them and all of those things. And in another conference, I saw them again, we reconnected. Oh, what have you been doing? I asked them to show me what they've been doing. I showed them some of the things I've been doing and all of those things. And I just got their emails some weeks ago to be this and that at that place. That is another benefit, making two. Also, I did mention of how I got a PhD supervisor, right? It was a conference I attended in Switzerland last year. And then after my presentation, I did a presentation on online harm reduction service provision for people who use drugs. And after my presentation, the professor approached me, oh, that is an interesting topic. I have some funding from the government to do a similar project. Would you like to join my PhD lab? That is the question. It is $1 million question. And I jumped at it. Yes, that is another opportunity. And so I can go on and on and on and on like that. So apart from, getting up to date information in that particular field, the kind of evidence that is being generated in that field, the kind of interventions that are working in different countries. And also you can bring that lens, like you can borrow people's idea, borrow people's intervention and contextualize it into your own country and do impactful work that will also attract other collaborators or partners into your own country, into your organization. So apart from all of those things, getting accurate information and up-to-date information on your field, apart from attending different abstract presentation, getting knowledge from diverse research, learning about unique methodologies that people are using and how you can also use those methodologies in your own personal research back home, listening to experts, top experts in that field, giving the opening sections speech, giving plenary sections discussion, learning from those experts. There are a lot already. There are enough benefits, right? Getting those information from experts are enough benefits. But if you are strategic enough, you can get all that benefit that is going to catapult your career into the next phase, right? So yeah, let me just stop at that for now.
Thank you very much, Isaac. You've answered my question. And I think another main thing that I want you to shed light on is the part of rejection. Some people
Yeah.
might think that, oh, okay, every time you apply, you always get the funding, you always win the funding. So it's always good to also share the side that is about being resilient, it's about being focused, it's about being determined, it's about knowing what you really want. It's not just
Yeah.
every time that we have these winning this funding, getting this
Mhm.
scholarship to present in conferences. So
Yeah.
can you share that part that no, it's not that perfect, but it's just about being resilient and being focused and as well being determined to
Yeah.
stretch yourself. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think you've mentioned the key thing already. It's being resilient and being focused and being determined. For example, let me just be practical. Uh, I've gotten some, Yusuf mentioned a conference earlier, the International Aid Society Conference. They have different conferences that they do every year in different countries. And I've gotten that scholarship 4 different times, like 4 consecutive years. I've gotten that scholarship 4 consecutive years. But what people don't know is that before that consecutive 4 years, 4 consecutive years of getting that scholarship, I've received rejection for 3 consecutive years. I've received rejection for 3 consecutive years. Firstly, the project I did in 2017 was actually to submit an abstract to them. I was rejected. 2018, I was rejected. 2019, I was rejected. 2020, there was COVID-19. The whole program was virtual. 2021, I got in, but it was moved to virtual. 2022, I got in. 2020. So just imagine that I stopped in 2020 after my third rejection. Just imagine I stopped there, right? I wouldn't have gotten these ones I've been getting. There's another one, a lot of conferences, but also as a bonus, let me just mention some of these conferences so that we can also check them out. For example, the International Aid Society Conference, one is coming up this year, but the application is closed for now. It is happening in Germany. The next one is coming up in 2025 in Rwanda. The scholarship application will be opened by the end of this year. Also, there's INSHU, that is an international network of, I think, hypothetics and and something is substance user, right? So INSHU, you can check them out. Uh, there's also uh, there's also Royal Society of Tropical Medicine Early Career Conference, something like that. You can also check that Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene Conference. Uh, also, there's also we'll be having GHF conference in Rwanda too. So you can also look out for that. GHF conference, Global Health Focus. We'll be having a conference on that sometimes next year as well. You can also look at the United Nations conferences. They have a lot of conferences. There's civil society conferences and the likes. And another thing I need to mention is that when you are applying for some of these conferences, you can check at their website. Look out for previous winners, and you can reach out to them to support you. For example, International Aid Society, ADBC got it before me, and it was through that leverage I was able to understand what the conference is all about and how I can also key into it, right? So you can look at past winners and see how they can support you, review your application. And then uh, I can't really remember some of these conferences again. There's Student for Sensible Drug Policy Conference in the US. There's Drug Policy Alliance. Some of these conferences are peculiar to me because that is my field. Those are the kind of things I'm looking for. There's a Drug Policy Alliance Conference still in the US. There's a Women Deliver. There's what again? ICFP.
Quite
I
a
have
lot.
some friends that, yeah, ICFP. I think that is happening in one of these Asia country this year. Is it Asia? I think Greece. I can't remember. So there are a lot of conferences. There are a lot of conferences. You can check Twitter for them. Just type conferences on Twitter. You'll see a lot of things. 2024 conferences, 2024. You'll see a lot. Apart from the Google alerts, you can type it on Twitter, on Facebook, and all of those things you see. You can also join some groups. There are some different WhatsApp groups where people share a lot of opportunities. You can look for those stuff and also join. Yeah. You can also visit the Opportunity Desk, that website. They usually share some of these conferences. Yeah. So that is just it. So you may not get a win at the first instance. So there are some people that are lucky enough that they get a win with their first application. I applaud them. That is very good. But for my own case, I didn't get a win at the first instance. Like there were a lot of rejections. There are some you even get, and then you won't get the visa to travel to those countries, especially if you are a first-time traveler, right? So those are the kind of challenges you are going to face. It can be very, very saddening and depressing, but it is normal. Rejection is part of the process. With those rejections, you can always improve on your work on a yearly basis. You can always improve on your work. And one key thing about this whole application now is that when I'm applying for a conference now, I don't need to stress myself again. I just go to the, I just go into my archive of conferences, look at all the essays I've written, then pick them out, then, revamp them into something good again and submit. So those are the importance of you receiving rejection now. Receive them, have that archive. You can always go back to them, improve on them instead of starting from the scratch and, give out something meaningful to the reviewers that will actually captivate their attention and also ensure that they are going to give you this scholarship. So you just need to be resilient. You need to keep going. You need to keep going back. There are some things I'm applying for right now that I've been rejected like more than 5 times, but I will still apply again. I will still, I don't want to mention it. Yusuf knows, right? I will still apply. I will still apply. If they reject, I will still apply because I know what I'm looking for. Uh, there's this slang we use now. Okay, don't let me use that slang because of censorship and all of those things. So, but don't give up, right? Don't give up. So just keep trying your best. All you need is one. And one key thing about this stuff is that if you are able to just struggle and get one win, it is going to cause a ripple effect of other wins. It's going to be like a causal chain. One win is going to trigger another one. It's going to trigger another one because that win is going to substantiate your credibility. And you can always use that statement, that win in your other application, and it will trigger that, trigger that, trigger that. So just keep striving till you get that one yes. Just keep striving. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac. I mean, as young people, the very first thing that you need to know how to contain is rejection, because it's inevitable in any journey whatsoever, anything that you are doing. Just learn, move on, continue to grow, continue to improve yourself. That's what is important. If you have rejection, it's not about you, it's about them. move on, continue to own your craft. As young people, always remember that when it comes to conference too, you can be rejected. That doesn't mean that you're not good enough or your application is not good enough. Sometimes they just don't prioritize what you want to present on or something. So, and you can learn from what you have said as well. He got it the third time. So, and since then, there's always going to be a ripple effect. And that's similar in similar case with me. Of course, you will get the funding. Sometimes you will not get the visa. So that's another challenge for us that we are in this part of the world. So, but always remember that what is important is being resilient, and of course, you having a very good understanding of what you really want. So rejection is always going to be there. So just learn how to cope with it and continue to improve your craft. Um, Someone is asking a question here that must I be a first author to present paper at a conference? Must I be a first author to present paper at a conference?
Um, no, you don't have to be the first author. You can be any position on that paper, so far you've gotten the consent of your co-authors and they all agree for you to be the presenting author. That is fine. In fact, another person can submit the abstract and you will be the one to present it. So you don't need to be the first author. You don't even need to be the submitting author before you can be the presenting author. So far, you have the agreement of your co-authors. You've all agreed that, oh, you are the one presenting it. Everybody is in agreement and all of those things. You are fine. You are fine to do that. Sometimes I do some research work with my lecturers in school, and they can be busy. They are even the first author. It is their work. They only ask me to be a collaborator, and I'm the last author on such paper. With their consent, I can submit such paper for conferences, the abstract, and I get it. I go there to present, and that is it. So you don't need to be the first author. You must be the presenting author. And there are cases where probably the presenting author could not go again. You can write to the organizers that, oh, you want to nominate another co-author to be the presenting author and see if the scholarship can be transferred to that person. So there are such scenarios as well. So yeah.
Thank you very much for doing justice to that. Of course, anyone can present. You just need to be able to have that communication with the organizers. I also have a question that people have they always ask is that do you need to um, maybe have published what you want to present in a conference? Is it a must to have published it in a journal before you can present in a conference?
No, it could be a research in progress. You may not even have the full data of your work. You may not have analyzed the full data. It may just be a component of a project you are implementing. It may even be a paper that is still in peer review, right? It's just an abstract, right? So the thing is that you need to look at the journals you are submitting to, if it is not against them, against their policy for you to, do things for like, publishing things in different channels. If it is not against their policy, right, you can always send in your work, and it does not need to be a published work. It can be a research in progress and all of those. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, you might even want to decide to publish it after the conference. One of the importance of attending conferences is that you can also get feedback on your research from other researchers that you can use to improve the work that you are doing or the research that you're working on that you are presenting that conference before you write it up for publication in a journal. So thank you very much for sharing that insight. So another person is asking that as an undergraduate student with rigorous class and study activities, how will you go about its coupling conferences and schoolwork? So how do you manage the two, attending conferences and presenting in conferences and schoolwork? The person is asking is Glory Olawoye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that question. And to be honest, it can be a bit taxing to be juggling between external engagement and your academics, right? It can be taxing, but believe me, we all have we all have time for different things. We all have time for different things. There are some students that have time for, the academics and then religious things. There are some that have time for their academics and sports. Yeah. So you just need to do proper time management. It is not, you are not using the 24 hours in a day in studying or in attending classes. You are not using all the 7 days in a week in attending classes. And so, and as a student, there is no strict rule to these things. When you get to school, you yourself know some classes that you can skip and still pass them. You know some that, oh, this man is just going to read from this particular textbook all through. You know all of these things. And so you should be able to prioritize your time. And then if you are going for conferences, there are classes, you should know that you'll be doing some extra work. You'll be doing some extra work compared to those that attend those classes. You need to put in some more effort to read. You need to put in some more effort. You should have friends that you can discuss with because you are coming from a conference. You need to share your lessons with some of your friends. Your friends can also share with you what they've been learning in class while you are away. So it could be a sort of a symbiotic relationship that way, right? So it is all about time management, priority, time management and priority. If you can fix those two things, you will be fine. You'll be fine. And this is okay. I don't want to talk in the context of Nigeria alone, but I think just priority and time management can fix that. Yeah.
I mean, nothing good come easy. As an
Yeah.
undergraduate that want to do something exceptional, um, and for to give a practical example as well, and as you can see, Isaac as well, during undergraduate, we try to do something exceptional, something out of scope of what is expected of an undergraduate, and that's what makes you exceptional. And in most cases, when we're attending international conferences, our schools, our university, they are mostly supportive. If you
Yeah.
write to them that you have the opportunity to attend an international conference, in fact, in my own case, they shifted some tests, or they allow us to write some tests later, just to cover things up. So some schools are willing to support you to attend all these conferences, because it's also going to enrich your experience as an undergraduate. So don't be scared, don't be worried too much. Once you win scholarship or you win funding to attend conferences, just take permission from your school to attend. And even if you have tests, they can try as much as possible to schedule another test for you, make up test or something
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be helpful to you and make you participate in that conference. So I believe most schools and most university, they are also there to enrich students' academic experiences, which I'm sure your university is not going to be an exception. So continue to
Yeah.
strive, continue to build yourself, continue to look for those opportunity. And when the time comes, I'm sure you're going to be able to navigate how to go about it. Thank you very much, Isaac, for shedding more light on that. And do we still have any question? So we don't have any question. I think you've satisfied them.
Okay.
I'll probably wait for like the next 3 minutes and let's see if they're going to have any question. And if you have any other thing that you want to share briefly with them, uh, the floor is yours. If you have any additional stuff that you want to share while we wait for more question. So we are going to wait for another 5 minutes. If there's no question, we are going to end the call. So
Okay. Okay. We've talked about this normal routes of getting scholarship, so conferences and all of those things. There are some a bit more radical ways in which you can also, it is not very common, but you can also use those ways to, get uh, some travel scholarship. Like if you see a conference that is happening so in a place, you can write to the organizers that you want to be a volunteer, you want to be a rapporteur, you want to be their communications manager to, post the whole thing on social media for them. and in return, all they need to do, they don't need to pay you. All they need to do is to cover your cost down to the conference venue and then give you the accommodation you need. So those are some of the radical ways in which you can also get access to some of these conference grants. When you visit their website, you can see their email, just draft a proposal, give them that value proposition. This is what this is what you can do for them. This is what that thing can do for the organization. This is the value they are going to get from you engaging their social media audience through the conference things they will be doing. You can also propose, you are going to craft some social media posts from each of the abstracts that is being presented at those conferences to share to a wider audience and all of those things. So those are radical ways in which you can reach out to organizers. Also, you can look for companies, pharmaceutical companies, industries that can give funding. You can write to them. Let's say you've been accepted for a conference, but there is no travel grant. You have an abstract accepted. There is no travel scholarship. You can write to those companies to support you. Just give them your value proposition. Tell them you are going to project their organization or this or that at the conference. And that is also welcome. So apart from abstract, you can also propose to do trainings, workshops at those conferences. Like I had some workshops last year in Australia for some conferences. You can also do same. You can develop a workshop you want to do at a conference. And that is even more viable sometimes because you are going to engage a lot of people. It is practical sections. You can propose that. Also, there are some conferences where you can propose having some exhibition, some side event, drama, music, a lot of things, art, showcase some artwork, a lot of things like that. So don't conform to a particular method. Be dynamic, use different methods, be radical with your thinking. And believe me, in no time, you are going to get what you are looking for, right? So, ciao.
Thank you very much, Isaac, for sharing that. I mean, you can reach out to people, company, pharma company, organization to fund your attendance in conferences. You can write to them. You can get money from other people. It's not a must that you apply for scholarship. Sometimes, as I said, you can write to them and tell them what are the possible value that they are going to get from sponsoring you to attend those conferences. So just be highly strategic. There are people that you can reach out to. For instance, maybe there's an organization, maybe they do something on HIV/AIDS, maybe they produce or they make a product on maybe self-testing kits. You can write to them to sponsor you to a conference. But what are they going to get in return? Is it that you're going to promote their project, their program? Is it that you're going to let the attendees know about what they are doing? I've done that for the Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene when I was still a student ambassador. They actually gave me support to attend a conference. And my role there is to promote what they do at RSCMH. So it's not every time that you have to wait from the organizer. Sometimes you can reach out to people to give you support, to give you funding. But what are you bringing on board? How do you want to support them in what they do to be able to, for them to be able to give you that money? That value proposition needs to be there, as Isaac said. So someone is asking here that Anayo Michael is asking, you mentioned getting a supervisor in a conference. Is there a way one recognize top scientists in a field, assuming you only know their name? Also, do one get to see other people attending?
Well, so that is a very good question. One key thing that most conferences do is that before the main conference, they share the list of speakers that will be coming to their conference to speak, right? You can look at those names. Look, some of them are scientists. Some of them are in the academia. Look up their name. Take that name to PubMed or Google Scholar. From there, you can see some of the papers they publish. Look at their affiliations. Oh, he's affiliated to a university. Check how current that paper is, and that will give you an idea. Oh, this must be a lecturer from so thing. Or just type the name on Google. It can take you to the institution website, right? with their profile. So that is one way. Another thing is that, well, not all the speakers, we have their name on the website of the conference organizers. Attend some plenary sections. You will surely introduce yourself before you speak. Your name is on your slide. You will see their institution. You can just sit down and then look out for them during the social event. You can speak with them, approach them. But I believe you must have a common ground with that person you want to approach. Probably you have been doing some work in your country also that aligns with their specific research area. So you can start discussion from there. You must come with a mutual discussion that will interest them, and you can exchange card and all of those things. But in my case, I was lucky enough to have the supervisor listening to my presentation, and after my presentation, he approached me. But before that, I also like visited the poster presentation. It is You will see lecturers, professors that are presenting their own poster as well, presenting their abstract through the oral presentation. So you have a lot of them. Just attend some of those things, pay attention to what they are saying, ask questions. You can ask questions just to stand unique. And also a bonus trick, dress in a way that people will remember you. For me, I like to put on agbada, put on my native wear. So you dress in a way people can easily remember you, right? So that is also a bonus trick. And then definitely you are going to meet other persons, other conference delegates. Some of them may be in your hotel room where you are staying, not your hotel room, but in the same hotel building, different rooms. Some of them you may have to like converge and then go to the conference venue together. You interact with them, know about what they are doing, see how you can collaborate with them. So I have so many contact like that I met in conferences. And we've started growing from being just colleagues to good friends that can support my career. I can also support them, offer support in any way I can, in any way I can. So that is just it. You have chances of meeting all of these people, top people, top people. Don't just go and tell them you want to snap with them. Strike conversation, take their card, their email, continue the conversation after the conference, send them an email, let them know what you are doing. If you are interested in joining their research lab, let them know. Send your resume, your CV, your paper, talk about their paper that you've read, the important things they did in that paper that interests you, and now you want to replicate it in your country or whatever thing. So those are the ways in which you can meet potential supervisors in those conferences. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
And
very much.
lastly,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and lastly, you should also prepare yourself. If you are presenting, prepare yourself. Learn how to speak well, public speaking skills, communication skills. They are vital things a researcher and academia must have. You should be able to communicate your idea in such a way that people will understand you and they can always reach out to you, see the important work you are doing. And so it is a case of opportunity meeting preparedness. Be prepared so that when opportunity comes, you'll be able to utilize it completely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac. I mean, you have to be highly strategic. And when you're attending conferences, of course, you have to look at the list of speakers, people that are coming there to speak. And even if you don't look at the list of speakers, you can go to the poster section and look at the research that people are presenting on. You can learn one or two things from it and ask and network with the presenters. So attending conferences should be strategic. It's not just you attending just for attending sake. So you have to be always be on your toe to look out for people, to network with people, to talk to people. It's when you talk to people that can even tell you that, oh, we have people working in this particular area that they can introduce you to. So when you have the opportunity, anytime in the future to attend maybe any international conference, always try as much as possible to talk to people as much as possible, learn about what they do. And also, like Isaac said, be unique. Maybe in terms of the way you dressed, the kind of clothes that you wear, just be unique in a way that they can always remember you. And what I can see generally from people that have been attending conferences, that have been winning scholarship and grants, is that is always like a ripple effect. Once you win one, you are going to win another. It's just like that. I don't know how it happens, but it's simple. It's basic rule because you have grown and you've learned how things are actually done, and you are more strategic on how you position yourself. So if you are looking for professors, you are looking for lecturers, they are always they will be in that conference, because when you attend conferences, you want experts to come and speak. They will definitely be there. So, but what is important now is that whether the work that they are doing actually aligns with your own interest, which in most cases it might not be, which is fine, but that doesn't mean that you should not network with other people. So you can continue to, that's why it's always good to attend conferences where you will meet people in your area of interest as well. You see, for instance, Isaac was able to meet that professor that is going to serve as a supervisor, because he attended a conference where their interest actually aligns. So you have to be strategic on how you choose where you attend and the kind of network and gathering where you see yourself attending conferences in. So you just have to be being strategic, and of course, you having a very good insight on what exactly you're looking out for. Not just attend conference, position yourself for opportunities as well. There's going to be ripple effect of you learning more about other people, and in fact, you seeing more opportunities that will help you in advancing your career. Thank you very much, Isaac, for sharing all these beautiful insights. Uh, and people are so thankful here. They're saying thank you very much. This is very insightful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation. I'm ready for what they are saying. So thank you very much, Isaac, for sharing with us today. And I'm sure they've learned one or two things that they will also make use of in their pursuit of applying for opportunities of building capacity as an undergraduate. And please, everyone that is watching, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell. If you are not subscribed, kindly subscribe. Invite your friends, young people that are interested in research, that are interested in capacity building, professional development. This gathering, this space is for them. So let them subscribe to the channel, and we are going to have more insightful, more interesting discussion from time to time. And importantly, uh, next week we are still going to have another session on another interesting topic, which I'm going to post on the community tab. And thank you very much, Olakuleyin, for putting this together. We are so grateful. Thank you very much for spearheading Pharma Research Hub, University of Ibadan. And thank you very much, Isaac. Again, we are so thankful for you sharing your insight with everyone here. So they said they've learned a lot, massive learning experience. Thank you very much, Isaac. So I think we can end the call now. Seems there's no question. Thank you very much, Olakuleyin. He said, thank you, sir. He's extending his regards to you, Isaac. So,
thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining, and we hope to see you next week. Invite your friends to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we have more exciting opportunity for them. Thank you very much, Amarachi. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you very much, Nafisa. Thank you very much, Glory. Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you very much, Frederick. Thank you very much, Hamza. Thank you very much, Quadri. Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Miriam. And we appreciate everyone. Thank you, Kadbi. Thank you, Anayo. Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So next week we have another session, and we hope to see you next time. If we invite you, Mr. Isaac, bye for now.
Copy of the internet.
Uh,
Hello?